If you had the ability to time travel, what would you do? Where would you go? Who would you see? In this video, I want to talk to you guys about how you can time travel right now, and in fact, why some of the most successful people that I've observed, like Alex Hormozi and Bilyeu and others, how they have mastered time, and some tips that you can use from them to help yourself achieve more success and find more fulfillment. So, jumping right in, time is just a tool. It's a tool. A key principle that I've seen in successful people, as I've said, is they have found this ability to master time. And in fact, there's this quote that I like that I pushed out on Twitter a couple of days ago, which was, successful people have learned to control time instead of allowing time to control them. As an aside, if this is a year from now, so summer of 2025, and I'm still in the same position, I'm still the same body, I don't have more muscle, I'm same amount of followers, I don't have a coaching business that's off the ground, you can disregard everything I say. But if that's not the case, it's probably because I'm implementing some of these things I'm learning. So let's jump right in. The number one way is, well, the first way that I'll go into, it's not the number one way, these are not in any order, is slowing time down. When is it powerful to slow time down? Well, it was funny, this conversation actually came up when I was talking to my dad, because if you come from a background, you have a family or you have like a genetic code of being frustrated or getting angry very quickly, you're quick to anger, slowing time down can be very powerful. I'm sure if you are a spicier person, you've definitely seen this happen with your friends or your significant other, where it's like you said something you shouldn't have said. It just came out so quickly. It went right past the filter, went on and came right out your face. And slowing time down is really important, not just for anger, but also for situations of passion. And so I have quite a few accountability partners that I work with just in different groups and coaching programs that I'm in. And one of mine, he's found this person he really loves, and she's like, in a lot of ways, she really fits the bill for his soulmate. And then in a lot of the ways, I'm not so sure if that's accurate. And so we're talking back and forth over this process, and he just has this immense amount of passion and excitement about this person. And in a situation like that, sometimes it's good to slow those feelings down. Tom Bilyeu and Huberman talk a lot about oxytocin and these love chemicals and what can happen. And so being mindful of situations of anger, situations of passion, and also important decisions. Now, I forget who it was that I was listening to, but I do agree with this quote. It was something to the effect of like 90% of the decisions in life don't require weeks for you to make a decision on. Like 90% of things you can make a decision on within a couple hours and then take massive action for, or massive action towards, create momentum, start getting going. 10% are things that you should take some time and slow time down, make a decision on. So I think a really tangible way is, coming from the Northeast, if you've ever driven to New Jersey, New York, or Massachusetts or something, you can very much vibe with road rage type people, right? So like in those scenarios, slowing time down looks like you're questioning, like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I letting this person have power over my emotions? Like, if everyone on the outside can control my emotions but me, that's a problem. And so slowing time down could look like a situation like that, where maybe you're driving home from work or whatever, and someone's getting on your nerves, and it's like, maybe it's a deep breath. I actually hate when people say, oh, just take a deep breath, because it's so overused, even though it works, like physiologically and mentally it works. It's just like a button for me. And so I feel resistance when someone says that, but maybe it is taking a deep breath for you. Maybe it's stepping back and being like, oh, okay, I'm like feeling these feelings. Like, this is wild. Like, where is this coming from? Why am I feeling this? And then, just like chilling it out and making it a game, and kind of just like you would in the gym, right? You're putting plates on, you're constantly trying to level up. Maybe it starts out in traffic, and then you come home with your spouse and they say something that irritates you, and you're like, I got this. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm cool. Like, you have to deal with it, and there are things, and you guys should have a talk about it if it's really a problem, or if they're really hurting your feelings, whatever. But having control over your emotions is really powerful, and you can do that by slowing time down, not responding so impulsively and quickly. Okay, now on the flip side, we talked about slowing time down. What about speeding time up? When is that valuable? When should we do that? What does that look like? So in some circumstances, like with my friend who, my accountability partner, he has this woman, he loves her, he's asked multiple times what my feedback is. I'm like, listen, this is going to crash and burn. I'm just telling you, I know you're going to go do this anyway. And now they have this momentum. They've like, their relationship has gotten kind of close, and they have like, they spent some time together recently. So I'm like, if you're going to go and do this anyway, and you're going to go, dedicate a year of your life to seeing if this works, like, just go do it. Don't wait 3 more months to then move and do this and do that. And so there are some times in your life when you're going to want to speed time up. So one of these instances could be momentum. So you have a business partner in your life, you've been wanting to start a business forever, and someone crosses your path and they are a really good complement to your skill set. That might be an opportunity of momentum for you to capitalize on it and say, like, this is the time. You might get a blessing from a family member to be like, maybe they were in a coaching situation that I'm in. Someone had family members that were sick, and they had a family business, and they were in it for 10 years, and they've never left the state that they've been in other than to visit other places. And it's like, recently their mom and dad have been like, you have our blessing, like, go move thousands of miles away, like, go do it, you should do it. And that's an opportunity of momentum, because sometimes people change their mind. Sometimes people get unhealthy again, or they fall ill again, and then you feel this responsibility or burden to take care of them. And so you have these windows of opportunity that you should be capitalizing on. The next is quantum leaps. So quantum leaps are a way of speeding up time. And these are not, it's not just, when people say quantum anything, it kind of sounds buzzwordy, but it just, in saying quantum, it means very quick improvements, very quick appreciation on something. And so this looks like skill stacking, right? And so you might find something that you learn in a book, and then you learn in a course, and then you're stacking these things on top of each other. And I talked about this in previous videos as well, where you might start out with a natural skill of yours, which may be speaking, maybe reading, and maybe listening. And then you use that to be like, okay, I'm a good speaker, I'm going to get into sales. And then you do something else, and then you write a book on sales. And then you're kind of like working in this spiralized way from like the nucleus outward, and you're kind of stacking your gifts and stacking these things that you're learning. So that is a way to make quantum leaps. Quantum leaps are a way to speed time up. Alex Hormozi, I would say, is really powerful in terms of speeding time up with regard to reps. I would also say Tom Bilyeu, right? He talks a lot about being able to delay gratification. And so it's hard, I think, for most people to delay gratification, because when they're going through a season of suffering or they're going through a season of challenge, like I'm kind of in it now, kind of coming through it, every moment, every minute, every second feels like 10 or 100x of what it actually is, right? So it's like, you've ever had your hand on the stove, or you've had, something happen that was really painful. It feels like an eternity. I remember when I was a kid, I was watching my stepbrother, we were riding bikes like along this canal thing, and there was like a disgusting, like seriously gross, like lake with like green sludge on top and whatever. And I just remember his bike, he hit a bump on the trail, and it was really narrow. There was a lake on one side and a lake on the other. And he hit this bump, and the bike starts to fall over. And I remember like I'm watching it from behind, and it's like, it literally felt like an eternity watching this bike fall over as he falls into this disgusting swamp infested like lake. And so going through the seasons of challenge, they feel like a lot longer than they actually are. And so being able to speed time up mentally and realize that it's going to take 10,000 reps, like just get the reps done, like try to not focus on the pain as much. A way that I've implemented this is like the gym. In my early videos, I would say I hate the gym. I still hate the gym. But I don't even think about it anymore, because I'm like, it's just such a part of my routine that I don't think about it. And because I don't think about it, it's not as painful for me. And because it's not as painful for me, it seems to go much faster. Not just getting there, not just my routine when I'm there, but actually the pain came from the process of thinking about it before I went there, because I enjoyed my time when I was there. So this is a way and a reason why you should speed time up. Okay, these next couple are going to get really freaky, and so I'm asking you guys to buckle in, but like, if you catch what I'm saying here, you will get a lot of value out of this. So seeing the future now. So this one's like pretty basic, right? So this is like creating a vision for yourself, having a vision. You're looking into the future and creating a vision now. Like, where do you want to be 5 years from now, right? Like, that's pretty simple, pretty basic. That's not too wild. But having a vision for your future is really important. This is the one that's probably going to start to this made my brain sweat. I don't want to speak for you, but I think for me, this is like still wild. Seeing the present from the future. So you're in your future vision, you're standing in your future vision, you're looking back to now. And this is really critical because if you analyze yourself, I think most people, and maybe it's just me because all I know is what's going on in these 4 walls, these 6 walls up here. In my own mind, I spend so much time thinking about what if it doesn't work? What if I run out of runway? What if this some other bad fill in the blank thing happens, right? And you might be that way too. I think a lot of people are. So when you're in your proverbial future, you're at your goal, you're living in that, and you're looking back, a way to evaluate this is like, number one, what's it going to be like when it works out, right? Because that's moving you towards the future you want, not away from the one you don't. Bilyeu Hormozi talks about this a lot in terms of, a lot of people suffer from asking bad questions. Instead of asking what happens if it doesn't work out, I should be asking, what's this going to be like when it does work out? What's my community going to look like? If you're lonely right now, what's your community going to look like when you do X, Y, and Z, when you start your food bank or you do something or you have the impact you want to have, what's it going to be like, instead of the inverse of that, right? And so looking at now from your future. And another way, I think this part of the video is inspired by Dr. Benjamin Hardy. He has a new book that's going to be coming out called Impossible Goals or something to that effect. He's still in the process of writing it. It should be released at the end of 2024. I'm really excited about it. I think his work with Be Your Future Self Now and some of these concepts on time and psychology are very mind-blowing, and I've seen them have success in a lot of people's lives. And so looking at now from the perspective of your future comes from him. And something he might say is like this process of having an impossible goal, right? So the impossible goal is like the future thing. The impossible goal is the process. Like a lot of people focus on the process. It's like the tweets and the ice bath and this and that and whatever. But it's like if you have an impossible goal, there's so few paths to get to it that it literally distills the pathways to get to that impossible goal down to one or two things, one or two methods of getting there. And so your impossible goal is the process. And so looking from the perspective of your future to now is a really helpful one. Another empowering way to utilize time as a tool is looking back without the lack. Yes, I couldn't help myself but make that one rhyme. Looking back without the lack. So instead of looking back, I'm a nostalgic. I literally had an antique store named after me as a kid. Like we would go to the auction and pick up all kinds of garbage, and then we would resell it. And like we had an antique store. And so I think that impacted a lot of my life when I look at things. And look at my generation too, right? Like look at people with Beanie Babies and like Apple iBook G3 clamshells, like old school Steve Jobs era Macs. Like they go for a lot of money now. They were worthless a couple of years ago. Pokemon cards, all this junk, right? It's making a resurgence because a lot of people are nostalgic. But you can get trapped in the past. You can be in a prison of the past. And I think one way to overcome that is to look back at the past. And instead of being nostalgic, looking back as a tool of measurement to see how far you've come to this point. And so maybe you're a business owner, maybe you're an employee that wants to be a business owner, but in either scenario, it is right now, it's June, so we're in the 6th month of 2024. If you look back to the beginning of 2024, how are you different? What has changed? What books have you read? What perspectives have shifted in your mind? If you're here on my channel and you're looking for growth information and whatever, like certainly you're on a trajectory where like you've probably done a lot of things to advance yourself. I would even ask, Dr. Hardy would probably ask you like, what things have you said no to that you wouldn't have said no to in 2023? What things are now below your floor? What things have you moved beyond? And so looking back without the lack, you're not nostalgic, you're looking back for empowerment to see how far did I come from 2023 to 2024? How far did I come from graduating college till now? How far have I come? And you do this for the purpose of giving yourself the tangible like evidence that you can go from where you are now to that future vision we talked about before. So it's a way of building confidence by creating evidence, right? Alex Hormozi talks a lot about don't BS yourself and fake it till you make it. Like confidence comes from evidence. I don't know if I so agree with his mantra on that. I think confidence comes from, I'm more in the Myron Golden camp of like, only you know every lie you've ever told. And so confident people that aren't confident tend to, they know that they don't mean what they say and say what they mean. But I do also in some ways agree with Alex that that you should have a series of stacked evidence that you can do the thing, and this is a way to get that, to create that evidence and create that confidence by looking backwards at all of the things you've overcome and accomplished. And I would recommend that exercise, like 6 months ago, how were you different? 6 years ago, how were you different? And really take the time, even if it feels like a fail and you went through a divorce and this and that, like if you look hard enough, you will start to see the ways that you've grown and how you've learned and like all the value you've extracted out of that, and that will be able to propel you forward towards where you want to go. So these are some of the ways that you can master time instead of having time master you. I hope these help, and I will see you guys in the next one.